and some do teach themselves to mimic a baby's cry when they want attention from a house with kids.
I believe that.
And I think that's incredible.
Yeah, cats are really, really incredible, very interesting animals. They really are. They have a lot of different types of intelligence. They're very they're just funny too. Like to have around in the house. They do just like crazy things. Well, welcome to the Gary Ayd Show, an abbreviated version today, going until 10:45. So let's get right into it. Opening rant. You know, something's been bothering me for a while now, a couple of years. Like the Lakers lost last night to the Nuggets. We know the Lakers aren't good this year. We know LeBron's past his prime, although he's still so damn good and putting up prime-like numbers, that because of that, we're holding him to the same standard that we held him to 14 years ago. And not only is that not fair, it just shows you how great he really has been and how great he still really is, in the sense that, I mean, think about it. When Kobe was in his last year, he could do no wrong. Didn't matter if he went 2 for 14. Didn't matter.
And he did.
And he did. Right. Dirk Nowitzki in his last year could barely get off the court. It didn't matter. LeBron goes 8 for 21 and the internet breaks. It's like the guy's in his 20th season. 20.
I know.
Let's relax. We have to understand something. He went to the Lakers not for basketball. That was a family choice. He had specific private schools he wanted to send his kids to. His wife had things in LA that she wanted to do. This was a family decision. They happened to get one championship. I know a lot of people like to pretend that championship didn't happen because, it was a bubble. Well, you know what? They played the games and they won. So it counts.
A ring's a ring. I hate that.
It counts.
A ring's a ring.
It absolutely counts. So, but I'm just tired of like this insinuation. Well, Jordan wouldn't have done. Jordan quit twice and was a shell of himself in his like 16th year in Washington. And how the people handle the Washington thing, they just act like it didn't happen. They just choose to ignore it completely. But then they'll take LeBron's worst moments and highlight them against him. The double standard of how we omit Jordan's worst and accentuate LeBron's worst is further proof to me that deep down inside, the Jordan fan club knows LeBron's better. That's why they're doing that. And it drives me nuts. This guy's in year 20.
I think it's a lot more than that. I think because Jordan was not outspoken on a lot of issues.
Yes.
LeBron is.
And he didn't have social media to deal with.
Oh, can you imagine if he did with the gambling and everything he did?
I mean,
he didn't retire the first time.
No, there's a reasonable argument to be made, circumstantial as it might be, that Jordan was either directly or indirectly related to his father's death because of his gambling. Like, that's a reasonable thing. It's somewhere between it. It straddles conspiracy and circumstantial case. It's somewhere in the middle of the two. It's not out in left field. Like you said, he didn't retire the first time. He had to get out of the kitchen while it was a little too hot.
Yeah. And what better way to do that than minor league baseball?
That's about as coy as you can be if you're Michael Jordan. There's no doubt about it.
Although that team had to be the luckiest team in the world. They were living in luxury with him there.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course. They have to take care of their star. But
he actually paid the bills.
Well, of course.
He got the bus that was like a bus limo. And
well, yeah. He's taking care of the kids, and that's fair. I mean, I'm glad he did that. But, this isn't a referendum on Jordan. It's just it's time to acknowledge that the standard we hold LeBron to in year 20 is higher than the standard we hold Joel Embiid to right now in his prime. Think about that.
Can you imagine if we did hold Embiid to that standard, though?
Well, anybody. I just used him as an example. Anybody.
I don't care about his points last night. He was pathetic.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, there's that too.
One mistake after another. This team needs to get their pecking order established because Tobias Harris is lost.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing.
They have their own issues.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and I just used him
and
as
they have one basketball to solve them.
Well, you know what? They have a great coach.
As I said, they have their own issues. Man, even on a day he's only got 45 minutes, he knows how to get me started.
I'm telling you, I know exactly the buttons to push. Oh, by the way, go on Facebook Live. Hit the like button if you're watching the video there. You can do that too, Rich, just for the hell of it on the page. I'm going to do the same thing. It really helps us rank in that algorithm. We do appreciate it.
Are we on now?
We are. You know what's interesting about this is, like, I just used Embiid as an example. Like, if we held any prime player to LeBron's standard, like, it would be considered unrealistic. I mean, even let's just go right to the top. Even Giannis, and Giannis is the best player in the NBA right now, and he showed it again last night. Giannis is a monster. But, like, think about it. If LeBron had lost that playoff series last year to Boston, it wouldn't matter if Kyrie was hurt. It wouldn't matter that Kevin Love was hurt, because we've seen this movie before. We know how that played out in public opinion. It was LeBron's fault they didn't win. LeBron was playing, JJ Redick talks about old guys being plumbers and electricians. He was playing with a guy who probably almost was a plumber, and Matthew Dellavedova is his second best player in that series. And they still almost won against a team that won like 60 games. Like, so it's the standard we've held LeBron to for his entire career isn't fair. It's not realistic. And it's even more so now that we're holding him to that standard in year 20. Let's chill. Let's just, for once, let's give this guy, and I'm not trying to make this a pity party, but, like, for once, let's just give this guy, like, a runway to just play basketball. Because, I mean, he's not going to be around that much longer. He's still good. The team stinks. We know the team stinks. They're not going to get better. And, like, let's just enjoy it for what it is. He's going to break one of the most hallowed records in sports this year. Let's just enjoy it and just stop acting stupid. Okay. I think I'm good.
Like I said, I think people react to him acting stupid at times too. And that's,
well, yeah, I mean, look,
and that's what drives a lot of it.
I mean, I think that's some of it, but I really think more of it comes down to the fact that there's so many people that are just clinging to their own youth, clinging to their own era, that don't want to acknowledge the fact. I think the fact that LeBron's been so good for so long, and the only conversation around him now, basketball-wise, is he the greatest of all time with Jordan? I think that is what has caused the tribalism that we see in terms of the dialogue around him. Now,
and the funny thing is, I don't see either of them as the greatest of all time.
Well, yeah, you think Wilt is, and I think that's a great argument. And I always said last year when they did the top 75, I did this with my old co-host Dave. We put together our own top 75, and I didn't use the NBA's list. And the way we did it was we said, okay, we're gonna put the bottom 55 of the top 75. They're either in or not. We're not ranking them. There's no way to parse all that. So we just said you either made it or didn't. Had a few honorable mentions, and then we ranked the top 20. And I think that's about right. In my opinion, in these greatest of all time conversations, there's really like 10 guys that you can make an argument for, and any of them is okay. You know, whether it's Jordan, LeBron, Wilt, Kareem, Magic, Bird, Oscar, Bill Russell. I mean, those are 8. I mean, maybe you could throw Hakeem Olajuwon, Kobe Bryant in there. There's like 10 people. I mean, you might extend it to 12 or 13, but like, that's it. That's why we did it that way. And to say conclusively one of those 10 or 12 or so is better than the other is like not really statistically possible. It depends what you want to emphasize. I personally emphasize longevity and versatility most, which is why I give it to LeBron. if you emphasize dominance and just being so far superior to your peers, you go Wilt. If you emphasize overall accolades, probably Kareem. If you emphasize championships, it's Bill Russell. Interestingly enough, none of these answers are Jordan, but yeah, he's the answer. So that's what's funny. Popularity, kind of Q rating, I guess, is where Jordan wins. And then
Well,
of course,
if you remember, the NBA has forgotten most of their history pre-Jordan.
Yeah, willful ignorance.
And
right.
I was on ESPN Plus, and I watched a few minutes of a Stanley Cup championship game from the 60s. I go to the NBA section of ESPN Plus. There's no old footage. I could go to the baseball section and find find old footage.
An old game in the NBA now counts as Kobe and Shaq's last game together. That's like that. That's no, it's true. And I've never liked that. It's why I've always emphasized on all my shows the deep history of the NBA. It's something I'm very passionate about and very educated on. But like, it's just, but that's just the thing. I just want to have at some point that not going away, but that back nine, gated community section of LeBron's career, like all the greats get, whether it's Dirk or it's Jordan with Washington or it's Kobe in his last couple of years. Like, I just want to have those, whether that's a year, half a season, 2 seasons. I just want to have that time where it's just like collectively the world just appreciates, the basketball world just appreciates what this guy has been for so long, because we're still holding him to this. As if he's in proving years that, hey, he has to prove it. He doesn't have to prove nothing. He's done all that already. Like, let's leave this guy alone. All right, so we got to pick our NFL game for tonight. We're going to do some news you can use, and we'll take a look at the games that actually happened last night. Lakers lost. We broke that one down a little bit. Knicks and Hornets was a great game. Raptors and 76ers. So a lot to get to. Back after this, the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. That's 800-370-2460.
Come on, you watch the news. Be prepared to pay more taxes. Then if you owe back taxes or haven't filed in a few years, get ready. The IRS, the largest collection agency in the world, will be coming after you with the power to collect taxes by any means they want to. Hey, they can freeze your bank account, your passport, even padlock your business. Oh, good times. Look, if the IRS claims you owe them $5,000 or more in back taxes and they're coming after you, don't panic. Call my friends at Get a Tax Lawyer first. Their job is to negotiate with the IRS and save you money. They're experts at it. That's all they do, and you can trust them. In some cases, they have reduced a $50,000 tax bill to less than $1,000. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more in back taxes, call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. That's 800-649-8617.
All right, we're back. Gary and Rich. We have about 20 minutes to go. Today is a short, abbreviated show. So let's get into last night's NBA action, Rich.
Giannis.
Oh my God, what a monster! The guy's just incredible. I mean, there's just nothing physically, you can do with him. And I think it's funny because like he has his own haters, but the best part is his haters are headlined by guys who bring guns into locker rooms, aka Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah.
Probably Jarvis Crittenton too, but they don't allow you to appear on ESPN out of prison. So hey, you know.
How can you hate this guy?
That's what's great about it, is like it shows your ignorance and stupidity if you hate this guy. Like, this guy's like the absolute best case scenario for the NBA. He's humble, he's hungry, he works his ass off, he's great, he doesn't do load management, he's played with his same team, which is a small market, he's won them a championship. What do you want? The guy's the best. What do you want?
And he likes it there, and he's a part owner. He's a minority owner of the Brewers.
Yeah, he's awesome. But yeah, last night, 43 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists. Like, I personally think it's laughable that people will put Kevin Durant in the same sentence with this guy. This guy's so much better than Kevin Durant, and he showed it last night. I mean, he just dominated this game, and Durant had a good game. I mean, 33 points. You know, he played really well, Durant, of course. He's a great player himself, but man, Giannis is just on a different level than everybody else right now.
He's the best player in the league.
Oh,
period.
God, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
The Nets hung with him for a half.
They did. Yes,
and I was surprised that happened. And then all of a sudden it was a typical Nets second half. They started missing shots and stopped trying on defense.
Mm-hmm.
You could try all you want on defense against Giannis, but I mean, they weren't playing any perimeter defense.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like you said, playing defense against Giannis is like kind of an exercise in futility anyway, but you know, you should still try.
You got to hope he's missing that night. I mean,
yeah, the problem with him is if he's missing, he just says, okay, I'm just going to get to the rim. And there's really not much you can do about that.
So the other New York team, the Knicks, had a nice night.
Yes. Oh, they did.
13 assists for Brunson impressed me more than the 24 points. And I think playing with Barrett and Randall, he's going to find himself more opportunities to get them the ball while still scoring.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a nice threesome to start with there. And Robinson didn't play a lot, but he had like 6 block shots in about 18 minutes.
Yeah, Robinson was really, really good. He you know, the other thing about the Knicks when you look at them is for the first time in a while, they have multiple guys who can really score. I mean, you have 4 guys who can really put points on the board. You got Brunson, Barrett, and Randall in the starting lineup. And you got Rose coming off the bench, and Quigley can score too, if given the opportunity. And then, of course, you have Cam Reddish, who didn't have a great game last night, but is capable. I mean, I like this Knicks roster. If the East wasn't so deep this year, I would like them to be closer to the top half of the playoff bracket. As it stands, it's just hard to imagine them finishing ahead of there's like at least 6 teams that I think, you know, are definitely better than them. But you know what?
I agree.
They're playing well. They're 3-1.
They are. They had 6 guys in double figures last night too.
It's a little concerning that a Hornets team without Ball gave them this much trouble, defensively in particular. I mean, 131 points. If you take away overtime, it was 128. 122. So it's 122 in regulation without Ball. That's a little concerning defensively. I'm sure Thibodeau didn't like that.
No, he's not going to let that go either.
But a win is a win. And you know, Gordon Hayward, good for him. He's playing well to start the year, maybe showcasing himself. Talk about a guy who's been resilient in the face of significant adversity. Good for him.
Yeah. He had one of the more Paul George type gruesome injuries.
Oh, he did, yeah. Absolutely, he did.
That I've seen. That was terrible. The Raptors super impressed me against Philly last night.
Yeah, let's talk about that one a little bit.
They outplayed them. They outcoached them. Everything was just. That was just a perfect game for them.
Yeah, Nick Nurse has really become one of the elite coaches in the NBA. I mean, he's right up there, and he should be in any top 5 or so of NBA coaches. I mean, he's as good as it gets.
Maxey looked pretty good. Embiid, 5 rebounds, no blocks. It's like, get involved, dude. This team doesn't even have a center you're playing against.
Yeah, well,
Siakam had 20 and 13. Scotty Barnes had 16 and 10. The Raptors had 6 guys in double figures.
What about Gary Trent Jr. dropping 27?
He started this last year. He started coming on late last season. I think he's kind of found his game.
Can you imagine if you were a like an NBA fan of the Raptors coming into this game, and what was the over under on Gary Trent leading the team in scoring?
You'd have cleaned up, but it's I'm sure it wasn't much.
Oh man, but yeah, he's been good. I really like this team. If they had some size, if they had Mitchell Robinson,
Yeah,
I think I would look at this team as a team that could really be a dark horse in the Eastern Conference, because they got everything else. They got good coaching, they got balanced offense, they got a lot of like nice, long, rangy athletes that can play in space, do a lot of things, easily switchable defensively on the perimeter. You got a lot of those hallmarks. They're pretty deep. They just have that one fatal flaw of, I just don't think they can, protect the rim. It's not even about rebounding. They gang rebound relatively well.
yeah. Well, their tallest starter last night was Scotty Barnes.
He was 6'8", 6'9".
Him and Siakam are like 6'9".
Yeah.
You had Anunoby, Trent, and Van Vliet were the other 3. All can score.
Yes.
They do rebound well as a team. Now, why did Embiid not take advantage of that?
Yeah, I mean, he did score 31 points, but to your point about the rebounding and the shot blocking, the lack thereof of both, that's the part you wonder. Now, I didn't watch a lot of this game, but the little bit I did see, the Raptors did a good job of putting everyone in space, which makes sense with their roster, and that will oftentimes pull a guy like Embiid away from the rim, which will impact shot blocking and rebounding numbers to a degree, but 5-0 is a little bit much.
And they drove a lot off that offense. They drove a lot, and Embiid was very slow to react, and that surprised me, because he's not normally like that. But when you have no block shots, your entire starting lineup as a team, in fact, you had 2, and Fred Van Vliet had 3. There's something wrong here.
Yeah, that's not okay. But good win for the Raptors. And it's funny, the 76ers, I think Doc Rivers and company should send LeBron and friends Christmas cards this year, because if it weren't for LeBron and the Lakers being such a train wreck, this would be the biggest story in the early week of the NBA season, is the fact that the 76ers, a title contender supposedly in the East, are now 1-4.
Yeah.
Like, this would be the early season dumpster fire conversation if LeBron wasn't falling on the sword for everyone else. I mean, it's really not been pretty. I mean, this is not a good look right now. If you're now, the one thing about Philly, you'll give them a little bit of credit here. I mean, they did play, of course, opening night, they played Milwaukee. Milwaukee's a better team. Raptors are a good team. Probably, Sixers probably should win that in the series. I don't think
they're better.
But they're not better. But it's a competitive enough game where, you could see a loss like this is like, just a loss to another good team. But at a certain point, you got to start stringing some wins together.
Right. Absolutely. We talked about the Lakers and their foibles against the Nuggets, but Jokic was 1 assist away from a triple-double.
Jokic is
and
amazing.
This doesn't even get mentioned.
Yeah, well, he's entering that category of, he does it so consistently now that it's almost like, people don't think of it as a big deal, which it explains his level of greatness. Denver is already managing the back of Porter Jr., which is interesting. Now, one good sign for the Lakers in this game, Anthony Davis showed up. And he really rebounded the ball. He was active around the rim. This was the first time, if there's a silver lining in this game for the Lakers, Anthony Davis really had, I think, his best game in months, going back to last season. He looked really active and engaged. And, he's always been a challenging matchup for Jokic. I remember in the 2020 playoffs when they beat the Nuggets along their way to the championship, he really gave Jokic fits.
He did.
He's a tough matchup for Jokic. His length and athleticism and agility just give Jokic a real hard time. But not tonight.
No, Jokic gave him a hard time.
Yeah.
Although he played well.
Yeah, Davis had a really good game. Jokic has just graduated to a different level of great right now. I mean, right now, if I was going to put my top 5 together of the best 5 players today at this moment in the NBA, in no particular order, I have Giannis, Luka, Jokic, Embiid, and then the 5th is kind of up for debate. I'd probably still go LeBron, though. But, you could throw a couple different guys in there. But those first 4 are no-brainers. Giannis, Jokic, Embiid, and Luka, to me, are easily the 4 best players in the NBA right now.
If I'm going by this year alone, Siakam is my 5th.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't going by this year alone. I was going kind of by...
Well, see, that's recent. What I care about. Who's the best now?
It's 4 or 5 games. I think that's tough to do. But
yeah, and as we go on, we'll look at that again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, if you're taking momentary power rankings, then yes, Siakam, Jokic, those 2, and Giannis. Well, Giannis is still number 1, even if you're...
Giannis is always...
like, that doesn't change very much. He's just at a different level. But yeah, getting to this game, Jokic at 31, 13, and 9. You mentioned the near triple-double. What about Bruce Brown? Good pickup for the Nuggets. 18 points in this game. Caldwell Pope, who I wish the Lakers had kept. Murray hasn't really found his sea legs yet coming back from that injury. He'll get there. Porter didn't play. For the Lakers, LeBron had a rough shooting game, but did finish with 19, 7, and 9. Davis, I mentioned, 22, 14, and 5 assists. Pretty good game. Lonnie Walker, I've always liked his game when he's healthy. Maybe he can fill some of that Malik Monk role with this team this year at 15 points. Austin Reeves, not much, only 8. So the Lakers, that's the problem. The Lakers just don't have any scoring. Now, Westbrook didn't play in this game.
No.
Which might mean a trade is imminent.
No, it was a injury. They wanted to sit him out.
Yeah, okay.
The Jazz beat Houston. Not a big deal, but Lauri Markkanen exploded. Clarkson had his usual good night, and THT came off the bench for 14. I like that kid, and I hope he finds his game.
Now, I want to talk one last game I want to highlight is the Cleveland game in Orlando. I really like this Cleveland team. Evan Mobley is a special type of player. This guy, you know who he reminds me of? And I think he's going to have a similar career, and I think he'll have a similar level of underappreciation through his career because of the smoothness and elegance of his play, maybe lacking ferocity at times. I think he's going to be very much like a Pau Gasol type. That's who I see Evan Mobley being. Just smooth, highly skilled, understated, but a great player. And I see him as Pau Gasol.
Yeah.
And he was great last night. He didn't do a whole lot besides scoring, but he was a very efficient scorer last night. 22 points, led the team in scoring. They won the game, of course. Jared Allen also with 18, but 16 big rebounds in only 29 minutes. That's a lot of work on the glass.
Yeah. Mobley had a nice night.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good team win. Bonchero's so impressive.
Absolutely.
Hey, we got 6 minutes. Who's going to win tonight?
Who's going to win tonight? Oh,
Thursday Night Football. Baltimore at Tampa Bay.
I'm going to go with Baltimore here. Tampa Bay looks lost. Brady looks disengaged and just shot mentally, which is understandable when you're going through a divorce. I personally think that Baltimore is going to win this game, I think, going away. It wouldn't surprise me if this was a 10 or even 14-point game when it was all said and done. I just think Brady's headspace, I just think he's lost his mental edge here. I think he's pretty much shot, at least for this year.
I agree. I think it's going to be a little closer because it's at home. And I really think they have something to prove. Do you agree with Warren Moon's statement that Gronkowski could save the Bucs?
No.
If he plays guard, maybe, but no.
I mean, I think he would help because I think he would boost Brady's mental outlook.
Yeah, they have more than one problem.
But they have a lot of problems.
They can't run. They can't block.
Right. I mean, I guess Gronkowski would help with blocking too.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a tight end.
True. And a pretty good one.
And one of the best ever, right? All right, let's get a couple minutes in with news you can use.
Probably my favorite story of the day. Bills quarterback Josh Allen asked Brandon Beane if he was safe ahead of the draft deadline. That's too good.
That is great. What about Gordon Hayward the other day, basically advocating for his own trade to the Lakers?
He would be just what they need.
No, he would.
Would be a perfect fit.
And I'll tell you something else. I don't know how long this ball injury is going to linger for, but if this turns into like a long-term thing, Westbrook in the interim would really help them too.
Yeah, it would. He would, and that would not be a bad move.
All right, what else we got?
The Browns are shopping Kareem Hunt, but they want a Christian McCaffrey style haul. Sorry.
Yeah, sure they do.
No.
yeah.
He's not worth it, and my God, you're really stupid.
Hey, I got this coffee cup here. I'll trade it to you, but I want a haul, and I want something similar to what I'll get for this iPad, please. Like, come on, please.
Because I know the Bills are looking at Kareem Hunt.
This is why the Browns can't have nice things. Because they think like this.
And I say if Buffalo's smart, Melvin Gordon in Denver. Yeah, he's a rental. Don't care.
So what?
You're playing for this year.
You're trying to win a Super Bowl, right?
Give him a pick and a young backup.
I'll tell you what.
Just make it happen.
If the Bills got either one of those running backs, that would be absolutely terrifying. Hunt in particular, because like he is just so electrifying in space. I mean, if you're covering Diggs and Allen, and then you got to worry about Kareem Hunt on like a screener. Oh,
he
no.
can catch out of the backfield.
Oh,
so can Gordon,
God.
though.
Yeah, but Hunt has a different gear. Hunt is like
he does.
0 to 60 in like half a second.
He does.
All right, what else we got? We got time for like a couple more here.
Okay. The Islanders shut out the Rangers last night. Like I said to you earlier, I get that they're playing 2 games in 2 nights. But in that rivalry game, you play Shesterkin. Oh, he's tired. What is he, 25, 26? Play him. Don't do that again. Period. And that goes for any sport. Play your best against rivals.
That's it.
Let's see, what else do we have here? I saw something else that was kind of interesting. You talked a little yesterday about Father Time coming for Clay and Draymond.
Yeah, Barkley said that. Yep.
Yeah. Well, Draymond Green called out his teammates and himself in the Suns' loss. He said, we were a bad defensive team.
Maybe they were punch drunk.
And, oh, jeez.
God, I had one in for the day. I was slacking. I was running out of time. I had to get one in.
Yeah. And I'll give DeAndre Ayton a lot of credit on that. He played a physical game you don't normally see out of him. And he said it was their goal to set the, quote, legal limit against the Warriors. So they came at him with everything, and it showed. Now, if he can start doing that consistently,
there you go.
That team could be a little bit of trouble.
That's awesome.
Even without Jay Crowder.
Even without him. That's right. All right. Let's go one more here.
Nets head coach Steve Nash got ejected for the
Yes.
first time as a head coach, arguing a non-call.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you got to fall on your sword a little bit as a coach, but unfortunately, he fell on his sword, and the Bucks just drank the blood. So
Yeah, pretty much.
it didn't do
And
very much. But
there's a great video of Kyrie Irving yelling at Ben Simmons to shoot the ball.
oh, well, didn't Ben Simmons hurt his back the other day again?
Yeah,
This guy's made out of plexiglass, man, and not the good kind.
I don't know what they're going to do with him. Oh, and real quick, Aaron Boone staying as manager of the Yankees. Aaron Judge and others could pass on the Yankees due to, quote, toxic fan culture. And as I posted on Cave Talk Radio NY Facebook page, the Giants are prepared to open the checkbook and pay whatever
Yes.
it takes to get Aaron Judge. Your thoughts?
California guy. I'd be a little leery about signing anything really long-term with that Giants team. I think they got a lot of problems to fix. I could see that turning into a Robbie Cano type of rest of his prime exile if he's not careful. I think that would give me hesitation if I was looking at teams. I'd be much more inclined to sign with teams that have a recent history of success. I'm sorry to say that includes the Dodgers. Certainly, it includes my Mets, which would be hilarious. And
It would.
And it would actually include the Red Sox, too, who I know didn't have a great year this year, but they are generally have been good the last number of years, and the cupboard's not bare. I feel like the Giants are just really far away from being good, even if they get Judge, particularly with the Padres and Dodgers being what they are right now.
True. And the Red Sox have a couple of their own to sign. Mike Francesa said yesterday the Yankees, quote, need wholesale changes and a new voice.
I agree. I don't disagree. I think they definitely need a new manager. They probably need a new front office, but I don't think you're going to get either. So have fun next year, Yankee fans, beating up on the Rangers and then losing in the playoffs. And there you go.
That's it.
That's it. That does it for us today. We'll be back to a regular show tomorrow, and we will see you then. It's the Gary Ayd Show. You're on the Cave.